Let's be honest, trying to run a business today feels a lot like you're sailing right into a massive storm. So how do you even begin to chart a course, especially when you're a business leader in the Asia Pacific and you're dealing with everything from economic chaos to these huge technological shifts? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Okay, so this entire explainer is based on the World Economic Forum's 2026 Global Risks Report. Now, this is a really big deal. They survey over 1,300 global experts. And this year's report has a pretty stark warning. It says we are entering a new age of competition. Basically, the old rulebook for how global business works, you can pretty much toss it out the window.
So for our purposes, we're going to zero in on what this report really means for you if you're doing business in the Asia Pacific. We're going to use the WEF's own insights to really unpack the key challenges and maybe some opportunities that are facing this incredibly dynamic region.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick off with a 30,000-foot view, then we're going to dive deep into the big risks that are shaking up trade, finance, and tech. And of course, we'll wrap up by looking at how your business can actually build resilience to navigate this whole new world.
So what is that big picture? Well, the report's outlook is, let's just say, not exactly rosy. Over half of the experts surveyed see a stormy, turbulent decade ahead. The consensus is that we're moving away from an era of collaboration and into a much more contested, competitive world.
First up, let's talk about the geo-economic battleground. This is a huge one. It's basically where countries are starting to use their economic power as weapons. And as you can imagine, this is creating massive ripple effects all across the Asia-Pacific.
The term you really need to know here is geo-economic confrontation. Look, this isn't just about simple trade disputes anymore. No, this is about nations deliberately using things like sanctions, tariffs, and investment controls to hit their geopolitical goals and to box in their rivals.
And please, don't think this is just some abstract theoretical risk. Just look at this chart. When experts were asked what could trigger a major global crisis this year, geo-economic confrontation came out on top. It's seen as a bigger immediate threat than armed conflict or even extreme weather. That is a massive, massive shift.
And this hits right at the heart of the global economy: trade, investment, and critically, supply chains. For all those export-driven economies across the Asia-Pacific, the manufacturing powerhouses, the tech hubs. This weaponization of commerce is a direct threat to business models that were built on the idea of open global market.
And you can see right here how this is hitting home. It's not just theory, it's what's keeping people up at night. For business leaders in Malaysia, this is their #1 risk. In Taiwan, China, the direct fallout, supply chain disruption, is #3. So this isn't some far-off global issue, it's a top-tier immediate concern for any economy that relies on trade.
Now, all this geopolitical friction is happening at the exact same time that we're facing a serious economic reckoning. In fact, the report shows that economic risks are climbing the charts faster than almost anything else, just adding another layer of pressure on businesses.
And we're not just talking about one thing. It's a whole cluster of worries that all feed into each other. As you can see, worries about an economic downturn and inflation both shot up a whopping 8 spots in the rankings this year. Now, you mix that with the growing fear of an asset bubble bursting and, well, you've got a pretty dangerous cocktail.
The whole global financial picture just feels a bit shaky, right? A lot of countries are wrestling with huge amounts of debt, and there's a growing fear of major market corrections, especially in those really hot sectors like AI. One big pop could easily trigger a much wider economic crisis.
And here's what's so important to understand. None of these risks exist in a vacuum. They are all connected. The report shows this spiderweb of links, where geo-economic confrontation directly pours fuel on the fire of an economic downturn and supply chain chaos. It's all part of the same perfect storm.
Okay, let's switch gears to our next big topic, technology. Now, of course, it has incredible promise for innovation, right? But it's also creating some powerful new risks, everything from job displacement to a whole new kind of global inequality.
In the short term, the big tech fears are the usual suspects: misinformation, cyber attacks. But look what happens when you zoom out to the long-term view. Adverse outcomes of AI just skyrockets into the top 5 most severe global risks over the next decade. I mean, that is a huge red flag waving right in front of us.
And just to wrap your head around the sheer scale of this, the AI market is projected to hit $3.5 trillion by 2033. This isn't just some niche tech trend, it is a systemic force that is going to completely reshape economies and societies. And bringing it back to the Asia-Pacific, this worry is especially sharp.
For business leaders all across Southeastern Asia, the negative side effects of AI are already ranked as the fourth highest risk they face. This region is on the cutting edge of the digital revolution, which also means it's on the front lines of its potential fallout.
There's this one quote from the report that is just chilling. It talks about a white-collar rust belt taking hold. This is the idea that AI-driven job losses aren't just going to hit factory floors anymore. They're coming for professional, white-collar jobs. For the knowledge economies that so many Asian cities have built themselves on, this could create a really powerful and really angry new political dynamic. And if you look even further down the road, you see this thing called the quantum divide. Basically, as the US and China sprint ahead in quantum computing, which could revolutionize everything from medicine to finance, there's a very real danger that other countries, including many in Asia, get left in the dust. This could create and lock in economic inequalities for generations.
So, with this incredibly complex web of risks, what can business leaders actually do? The final part of the report is all about this, shifting from the problems to the possible pathways for how to navigate this totally new reality.
The fundamental challenge we're facing is that the old ways of doing things, they're just broken. Big global cooperation is falling apart in this new competitive age. Trust is at an all-time low, and countries are looking inward. We clearly need some new, more creative approaches.
The report's answer isn't some magic solution. It's more about a new mindset. As you can see, the real focus is on smaller, more flexible collaborations. It also puts a huge emphasis on the role of the private sector in bridging some of these divides. And it makes it clear that public-private partnerships are going to be absolutely essential for building the trust we need to move forward.
And that really brings us to the final, critical question that every business leader needs to be asking themselves. As the world gets more fragmented and competition gets more intense, are your strategies just focused on winning a short-term game of rivalry? Or are you playing the long game, building the deep systemic resilience you're going to need to actually navigate the turbulence and thrive in the very complex decade ahead?